Hello, Shauna. It's Lon Appleby in the Global Classroom. Can you hear me now? Great. Do you want to jump on your microphone and just make sure we can hear you? Can you just go
Um,
ahead?
how do I do that?
Oh, I just heard you. You went,
Oh,
how do I do that? So that's good. We've got our tech working well today. So can you just make sure that's not luck? Can you just go ahead and say that again? How do I do that?
how do I do that?
Right. Yep. All good. You can mute it if you want. Yeah, you're muted now. Okay, good.
Thank
And you
you.
can still hear me, of course, when your microphone is muted. That's good. Okay, we're just getting started. We're not going to start for another 20 minutes, I should say. We're just getting set up. So I'm going to turn off my microphone. Okay, Shauna? Hi, Carol. Come on in. Okay, everybody. Yeah, we'll start in 5 minutes. You see, you're sharing your screen in the video conferencing system, and there you are again, and I keep having to bring it back. Yeah, you want to come up and, because, which is not bad, that's okay if you're sharing it. Yeah, but you see this over here? That's where I want you to do it. So open another tab and follow that. Otherwise, it gets into the system. Okay, everybody. So we're just getting set up, and you should all be able to hear me, and in a moment, you'll hear the other students. Hi, Banny. Can you just confirm that your microphone is working? Can you just say hello, and we'll go ahead, Banny.
Hello.
Okay, just a second. Shauna, can you speak again for us? And because we heard you before, go ahead again for 10 seconds.
Hello.
Okay, so something's happened there. Let me troubleshoot for a moment. Shauna, can you just put in the live chat that you are speaking right now? Because we can't hear you for some reason. Go ahead. Did you just speak, Shauna? Say yes or no in the live chat. I'll be able to. Okay, thanks. Yeah, all right. So we had you before. That's okay. We'll figure this out. If not, it might just be sometimes there's too much going on. But for now, I cannot hear. We cannot hear the online students, but you can hear us. We know you're out there, and you will be able to hear the students here. But why? I don't know why. But anyway, I'll try and troubleshoot that for a moment. But it gets very complex. Why that happens? It could be something.
Can you hear me now?
Simple, but I'm not going to get hung up on that. So for Shauna, Banny, and Maria, for now, we will not be able to hear you. Okay, for this class, I just can't troubleshoot on my own.
Okay.
I don't have tech support usually, so there's only so much I can do. But as long as you can hear us, that's critical. And you can always put your reactions in the live chat. Okay, so Banny, do you understand? Maria? Shauna, just put yes, yes, yes in the live chat if you understood what I just said. And then thanks. Good. Thank you, Banny. And so that's understood. There's always a way to troubleshoot around this stuff. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to get the doors, and we're going to start momentarily. But I just want to make sure our connection is working. And I'll bring back the space station because I always like to see that. So we're on SlideShare right now. That's interesting. Yeah, so there's live from the International Space Station looking down on the planet right now. That's a high definition camera underneath the space station as it orbits the planet. And it goes around the planet every 90 minutes. Great. So let us see if we've got everything properly connected. I know the microphones are working. Let's see, this is what Carol gave me one. Let's see if this is. Rover. This is Mars. Oh, let's see. We'll do it over here. See if Rover goes this way. No, I have neither. This came from Carol when she was in another class. This is humans, are on other planets, but just not human beings, just our machines. Oh, that's a rover. Did anyone see Wall-E, the movie Wall-E? Raise a hand if you've seen Wall-E. Oh, good. Oh, God. Okay. So let me see if everything technically is working. Whenever we go into a new world today, we have to make sure the tech is working first. Then we can actually do the human things. So is our tech working? Well, we have our audio plan for now. We have a little plan for that for the online students. Of course, for the students watching the recording later, everything is being recorded on YouTube right now, live streamed on YouTube, and that's in the lower left or right here on the video wall. And that is the live stream of YouTube that will be uploaded later to DC Connect. That's working. The connection is good there. So, and then of course we're in Toria, which is our video conferencing system. So that's good. And I know there's oh, that's always, I'll fix that, but that jumps. Okay. So I think we are just about ready to blast off. It's just around 1:10 Eastern Time. And if anybody happens to jump in on YouTube, they can go into the chat and we might get some interesting people. Hopefully, if something jumps into YouTube, it will be human and not a kind of algorithm produced voice that starts spewing nonsense and nasty things. So we are putting the word out into YouTube universe that if anybody's out there and is hearing this and you're a human or you're a machine, there you are on YouTube, there we are on YouTube. Please come into this class with your comments as a human being and intelligent. We would like intelligent, sentient creatures, not machines that are cold and violent, nasty, and destructive. Okay, so anyways, did anyone hear anything out there? Or is it just total silence? Oh, so sad. Everybody trying to get attention on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all these things, and look at that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about us. Well, that's all right. We're okay if we don't have anybody, watching us, right? I mean, that's okay. We don't need attention, do we? Okay, so I think we can start the class, Humanity's Destiny, and I'll leave the door open over there in case anybody wants to wander in. But welcome everybody for our second week of Humanity's Destiny, in which we come on in. We explore the human future. And last week we had a few technical hiccups, which I will address in a moment, that led to not everything being posted for you as they were supposed to be posted. You should have seen in the class 1 folder on the content page on DC Connect, you should have seen the recording of the class, which you did. We did get that. But then the notes over there never got exported. They will this week, and they should be posted for you as well. So that, along with the live chat, wasn't posted. So every week, if I can make sure I kind of get everything on the checklist done here technically, in the DC Connect folder, you can always count on having the recording of the class, the notes that we keep together, and the live chat. And that will be the kind of foundational resource material that you will always have every class to work from for your reflections and your assignments that you will be doing. So that will be complete for you today. You will see in the next 24, 48 hours, you'll have that material. So for those of you watching just the recordings, you will have that additional material in the class 2 folder. And if anybody has any questions, they can always shoot me an email afterwards. But I think we're pretty good. Today, what we're going to do is actually we're going to focus not on history's lessons. As I promised you last week, I was getting ahead of myself. We're actually going to start thinking about the future. How do we think about the future in very concrete, realistic ways so that we can maybe predict or forecast more effectively? And I just want to give you a little rundown of what you're going to be, what the topics will be this semester, week to week, so you know what you're coming into each week and how things are going to work. But last week we had a bit of an introduction, but I'm going to make sure that today we start to really focus on one topic a little more concretely, because that's what we will do each week. There will be a different topic. So essentially the way it will work is when you come to the class each week, once we get connected and everything, there will be a review, and we will review last week's class, and we usually go over the live chat a little bit and the notes, as well as your comments for maybe 5 or 10 minutes quickly. And then we will jump into the main topic, the new topic, and I will give a brief lecture on that or a talk. Sometimes it would just be me talking from the chair like this with this material up on the dashboard or wall, but other times I will present images and slides and a kind of a PowerPoint, but it won't be what you're used to. It will be something more visual with videos as well. So a kind of multimedia lecture, if you will. After that, then we will have an activity where you kind of meet in teams. Last week was great. We all kind of did the speed meeting activity, and that went well. Today, I'm going to put you into small teams where you'll work on a question. And each week, generally, that's the kind of template you can expect from how the class will be delivered, is there will always be that kind of lineup. And that should be clear for you. And it's called a format. And it's important that there be some type of format. You'll see that in not just classes, good classes, but even great television shows. A World I Came From, there's always a format. So whether it's, Seinfeld that I used to watch and still watch a lot, or whether it's Friends, or whether it's, shows you're watching today, or even things you're watching on TikTok or whatever, good produce shows. America's Got Talent, Canada's Got Talent, great television shows. They have a format that you can expect. And just like in Seinfeld, how many of you know Seinfeld? You ever watch Seinfeld? Did you like it? Kind of funny? Yeah. You ever watch Saturday Night Live? Saturday Night Live? Yep. One of the longest running shows in television history. And it's a person from Toronto who created it, Lorne Michaels. He's still the executive producer. And he started it 45 years ago. But you'll see in those shows, they always have a format. In Seinfeld, you have Kramer, who's always flying in and out of the door, and you got Jerry and George, and they're fighting. And well, here we have a format too, I think. And that's the format. Okay, so we're going to do the review and then have a little talk, good activity. We do the take up, great notes, and then we're done. Okay. That's the idea. Make sense? You good with that? Is there anything you would like to have in terms of a format in this class that we would do each week that you think would be helpful? You can always mention it now, or you can put it, if you want to put it in the live chat now, or you can email it or whatever, but I'm always open to lots of ideas from everybody. So let's see. I think we can probably jump into the review. We don't have much to review because there weren't really any notes given for you except a bit there, and there's no live chat. So we'll do it a bit from memory. And then we're going to start with thinking about the future. Okay, so let's see if these are working properly. They should be. We'll go like this. Yep. Good. So I will hand these out when you want to start talking. Does anybody want to say anything at this point? Does anybody have a thought on their mind about what's coming? what's ahead of us? Well, by way of introducing the topic today, before we kind of do a quick review, I'd like to remind you of something about the future and how important it is to think about technology. Now, normally when I do the class about thinking about the future, I like to start with a little video from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology about scenario planning. But this week, I'm actually taking a pause with all of my classes to address something very significant in the classroom today. And for any of you who might have been in our morning class, Global Leader, you might find some of this repetitious, but there will be new material as well, okay? But there's something we have to deal with today, which is technology in the classroom, and particularly the new generative intelligence programs like ChatGPT and speed writing and all of these programs that are quite transformative. And so I want to talk to you about that today because there has never been a time in the history of the human being on planet Earth where technology has been advancing so fast and things are changing so much, so quickly. And it's a difficult, exciting time to be alive. But it can be troubling too, because things are constantly in flux. And it's often being driven by human civilization on planet Earth, what humans are doing to nature, and what humans are doing to themselves. And underneath that is this remarkable capacity that humans have for tool making, for being creative. And we now are at a point where we are entering into a period on planet Earth where we may begin creating new forms of being on this planet that are not human. And so it's really important that we engage in this conversation early on, because thinking about the future today, being able to forecast what might happen, learning some of these techniques of scenario planning and thinking about the future will always bring us back to technology in some way. And everybody needs to develop their own relationship with technology. And so today we're going to address this question of artificial intelligence in the classroom and how you would like to use these powerful new programs that basically can do the work for you if you want. In other words, I probably don't need to tell you this, but I'm sure some of you may not have thought about this in the way that we need to be thinking. You could go through this semester in this class, and I'm talking online, I'm talking to the students watching the recordings, and hand in reflections and assignments that you never do. All you do is you enter a prompt into OpenAI, and you say, well, tomorrow, prompt in the box. In my humanities destiny class that looks at the human future, I have to hand in 750 words in which I reflect on what my vision is of the future, particularly around technology and science. You enter that in, and within seconds, you get a really well-written reflection, and you can even tweak it and say, well, what? I mean, you know this, right? You understand all of this. So then the question becomes, how do we use these tools in the classroom that will make you smarter and more prepared and not lazier and more prone to cheat? How do we do that? Well, that's what we're going to look at today together. You're going to help answer this question. How are we going to use this technology in this classroom to make you more prepared for a world coming that has what we call existential crises happening? So let's do a little review because we touched on this last week a little bit. Do you remember that word I gave you last week that defines the age in which we are entering now? And it begins with an A and something seen in it. And yes, what's your name? Anthropocene, exactly. Excellent. Anthropocene or Anthropocene. When we say Anthropocene, so let's do a quick review and make sure in the live chat if any of you want to put your definitions of what the Anthropocene is. But I'm going to make a student squirm a little bit, but I'll see. Okay, I turn the microphone on, and maybe I'll just start with Connor because Connor was here this morning and Global Leader, and he's probably more comfortable. Are you okay answering? Okay, Connor, good. So Connor, go for it. What does Anthropocene mean?
Well, I pulled this up on Google, so don't be too mad at me. But Anthropocene is usually sometimes used as a simple description of the time in which humans have substantially impacted our planet. So it's humans, I guess, footprint on the world and how it's changed how it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he's familiar with the format a little in the class. Come on in. And I'm going to ask him a bit of a difficult question. Connor, why couldn't you do that from memory?
Well, because I didn't remember it, to be completely honest.
Fair enough. And I can't even remember. I couldn't until I checked our little bit of notes from last week. I think we wrote Anthropocene there. Let me just stay on this raw nerve for a moment because it's the only way I can get anybody's attention. And I do believe that the only way you're going to learn is when we deal with difficult things, not easy things. So if I say things would get a bit uncomfortable, guaranteed some students will look and engage. Be honest, how many of you remembered the word Anthropocene from last week? Kind of. Okay, Grayson, kind of? Good, good. All right. Brandon, you're definitely remembered? The word. You remember did you remember the definition? Okay, good. Now I'm going to put this out there for all of you before we kind of get going. We're still in the review land. Come on in, guys. And I'm saying this largely to get your attention. And I'm being a bit controversial, only to just make sure I can get some eyeballs here. I think your memories are getting weaker. Do I feel that way? I'm not sure. I'm saying this to get your attention and to make you think. Now, this leads to the bigger question that we're going to be looking at more deeply today about the role of technology in the classroom, the role of machines in the classroom, and how this will impact on the human future, your future. I think it's great that we have Google. Once upon a time, when I was a little younger and Google came out and was released, people started to say, don't use Google so much. Just the way now we say, don't use ChatGPT too much. But then we figured out how to use it. But still, Connor's instinct was, go to Google. Go to Google. Go to Google. That kind of unnerves me. Okay, but I'm just putting it out there. Okay. Now, I want today to make sure that we understand what exactly artificial intelligence is, because there is a very powerful force in our lives right now that is like the current underneath the river the beautiful river or the ocean or the lake. You can't see it, but it's moving things along, and it's been doing that for a long time, and it will continue to do that. And that is, we humans love our machines. And we've been creating powerful things in this world from the moment we picked up a rock 3 million years ago, early humans, as Grayson would know from Short History of the World. And a human went, what am I going to do with this rock? You know, here's nature. Well, there's a rock just sitting there, all sorts of rocks. And for a long time on this planet, most of the creatures just go by the rocks and sometimes pick them up. But what do we humans do? We start going, oh, yeah, you know, you chip away at that and do this, and soon enough you have a weapon. And then you connect this to something else, and soon you have a multi-part weapon. Then eventually we start to create other things, machines, and we discover electrons in the atom, and we create modern electronics. I mean, this is not a history class today. My point is that it doesn't matter what you think about ChatGPT, whether you like it or not, whether you cheat or not. It doesn't matter what you think about machines. They are not going anywhere. In fact, we're going to have more of this in our lives because we humans like to do that. We like to create things and get stronger and more powerful and move around and go to other planets and other places and see what's out there. We all are restless. So the question is going to be, how do we use these tools? How do we use ChatGPT and SpeedWrite and artificial intelligence in the classroom in a way that's going to make you even smarter? I don't know. We're going to start doing that today. And this topic is going to be bleeding into everything we do this semester. It's going to come up in your reflections next week when you do your first reflection for the discussion thread that's worth 12.5%. Then there will be a second reflection 2 weeks later, and then the first assignment, and all of this is written. I am going to be looking more closely than ever at what's coming in. But I have a little over 200 students in my 3 classes this semester, and I don't have an assistant. So I'm not going to be able to find everything, and I'm not going to assume that any of you are going to cheat. I'm coming in wanting to help you. So I don't have an antagonistic view towards this new technology. I want to support you to use it so you don't blow things up. Okay? And we did touch on Oppenheimer last week, right? We did, and we know that we humans, and we did this many decades ago, and as, was it Ethan? Spencer. So we know humans are very capable of creating all sorts of weapons of mass destruction, and we live at a time of what's called omnicide, which is we can destroy everything. The point is, are you going to use this technology, artificial intelligence, to destroy your brain, to destroy your ability to think? Or are you going to use it for Excelsior? Remember Excelsior? Did we talk about that? Oh, damn, I got to make sure I have this with this class. I didn't touch on Excelsior last week, and I did it in the history. Let me just say, how many of you are Marvel Comics fans in any way? Marvel, DC Comics? Maybe? Are you familiar with the name Stan Lee? Stan Lee? Okay, Stan Lee. Stan Lee, one of the great creators and artists who was behind so much of the Marvel world. Do you know what he said about his driving kind of philosophy and his sort of positive nature he generally had? He said, it's Excelsior. Excelsium is the Latin word. Does anyone know what the word Excelsior means? Ooh, let's see. because we will now figure out what we want to do with technology when we understand the word Excelsior. Excelsior. Okay, let's write it, and then we'll finish the review and get going on the activity. Who feels particularly energetic right now to go over to the smartboard and write some things? Otherwise, I'll kind of pick somebody. Okay. I know it's that time of day and there's a bit of, and I just don't have the energy to walk over there. I just want to sit here myself and be a stick in the mud. Who likes to actually write, whether it's with a pen or pencil or on a keyboard? Like actually enjoy seeing their words come up. Well, then it's Nico. Nico, could you please go over to the smartboard and let's get this word down on the board. The ability to write is a magnificent human power. Okay, thanks. It's Nico, right? I got it right. Okay, Nico, can you write in large letters right across the board? Excelsior, E-X-C-E-L. Nice. E-X-C-E-L. S-I-O-R. E-X-C-E-L-S-I-O-R. Excelsior. L, yeah, like Excel, exactly. So put an L next, and then after that an S, an I, an O, and an R. Yeah, nice. Nico. Excelsior by Nico. You know where I got this idea to really use the writing on the board as to get the student's attention was I love Born Identity. You ever see the Born Identity and Matt Damon? I remember you have like, he's going somewhere else and there's like New York and Berlin writing here and London, you know, and you got these words. There's something about seeing words written out. I used to do this when I was teaching writing as well, you know. I don't know what it is. It's so simple. People are looking at him writing. How come you're not disappearing into cyberspace? You're watching Nico write an E or an X. So you know what Excelsior means? Stan Lee said, love this word. Above and beyond, on to greater glory. Can you write above and beyond, on to greater glory? You can just write it underneath. Right underneath Excelsior, okay? A definition. Above and beyond the pursuit of something greater, on to higher things. Excelsium comes from Latin. So I'm going to take the view in this class with all of you this semester as we look at humanity's destiny, above and beyond, on to greater, more glorious things. I'd like to ask you, yeah, keep going. Spell it any way you like, Nico. We'll clean it up after. Don't worry about it. As long as you're taking your hand and you're writing something. This is a magnificent power that humans have. Chimpanzees can't do this, and they have 98.4% of our DNA. You know, a worm, a lowly worm, has 18,000 genes. Humans have 24,000. You ever think about that? A worm. Its genome. It just has 6,000 genes less than you do. And the chimpanzee, you see at the zoo, 98.4%. So, and I'm not telling you anything that is wrong. This is basic science. So the question is going to be this semester with all of you is when we look at something like ChatGPT, which is being banned by some classrooms and schools and others, and it's causing a lot of educators much consternation. How do we use this when we can't detect really if students are cheating? I'm taking the view along with the college. We're pretty progressive here. How do we use this stuff? Because it is a fact that in the human civilization that has been created on planet Earth, we're always creating these amazing things, and they can always destroy us and they can always do something for us. So how do we use the tech this semester to help you to go on to greater and more glorious things? Does that make sense? Yes? You good with that? Nico, make sense? Okay, so I want to get you going, and I loved seeing you all in the meeting each other last week, and there was a good buzz. So we're going to get that going earlier today, and maybe extend the activity so you all have a chance to meet each other. But I also want to take lots of time to do a good take up afterwards. So let's get the question down that you're really going to have to think about as a team. Okay, so Nico, I hate to push you back to the board. One more. Today's big question. And next week, I will come back to thinking about the future and give my normal lecture on that. Then we'll go on to history's lessons and the next big thing, which follows, and then freedom's power. We will look at space exploration. All of this is coming. The future of the environment and nature, all of these things. But today's big question, we just have to stop and think about the role of AI in the classroom. What should the question be? What do you think Nico should write that would be a very good question for you to try and answer together today that would help you to understand, all of us, how to use this technology to make you better? So is that the question? How should we use ChatGPT or any of these AI platforms to make us better students? Does that sound okay? Or let's write this together for a moment. Anybody online want to try in the live chat? What should the question be? And Maria, you're not allowed because you were in the global leader class. So, but you can help us. But you probably have the question in your mind because I did a version of this in the morning class. I'm doing it in all my classes. What should Nico write? This is a question that there will be groups of 4 sitting in a moment here, there, and online, and you're going to be working this question over, and then we're going to take up your answers, and we're going to make sure that is right on the board. So how should we use artificial intelligence in the classroom to make us smarter? What do you think? Well, okay, let's go over to Brandon. Brandon's always ready to jump in. Way to go, Brandon. You know, karaoke, okay? So Brandon, we want to get a nice question for Nico to write that we're all going to do together.
I'm thinking something, sorry, I'm going to say this very weirdly, and
Okay,
you could probably make it sound more sense, I guess.
Yep.
What should be restrictive, or what should ChatGPT not be allowed to do, or what could it be restrictive to? Like, what were you not allowed to use it for? What do you think we should?
How should we use it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little broader, okay? Because that's a bit too maybe negative. I like to start with something a little more neutral and maybe with some potential for hope and not things that we can't do, but things that we can do. So how should we? Why don't we just say how should we use ChatGPT this semester? Okay. And I'm going to say, in terms of defining what ChatGPT is, just very simply, and then we can work on this together. It is a form of artificial intelligence, or what's called a subset of machine learning. But let's just keep it really simple and clear. It's non-humans doing human things. That's the world we're coming into. Non-humans doing human things. How should we use ChatGPT? And then question mark. Okay, Nico? Great. Nice. That's perfect. Thank you. You can sit down if you want to sit, or you can stretch, or you can, well, don't leave, but you can run on the spot, get some energy, do push-ups. What's that? Yeah, exactly. So if you want to stand, stand. As long as I have your brain. That's all I care about is we have brains here. People thinking. So we established last week also something about pessimism and optimism around the use of these machines in our lives. It may be that today, as we work through this question together, some of the pessimists from last week, or some who were maybe in the middle, may start to see that they're starting to move towards optimism. I have been listening to students here this morning and in other classes, and I've been impressed with what they're saying about how to use this technology to make us more critically minded, more creative, and be better. So you might be surprised for the apocalyptic dystopians here who think that maybe Chat GPT and artificial intelligence is the beginning of the end for us. You might be surprised at hearing what some of the students say about, no way, this is a liberating force. This is going to be opening us up to do more and be better on this planet. So we'll see where you stand on that, okay? So I think we can get ready now for the team activity, and then I want to give you lots of time to work through this, okay? So here's what we're going to do. First, we'll do something like we did last week for the online group. Bani, Shauna, Christina, and Maria, and Muskandeep and Tenjing, you are all one group, okay, folks? So could you just confirm that you understand what I just said? Just all of you put a yes in the live chat, and we'll have a whole bunch of yeses flying in. That's great. Okay. So go ahead, guys, online. Start working over that question together. The question that Nico has written is, how should we use Chat GPT this semester? Very, very simple. And if you want to see this nice and clearly online, then we do this. Yeah. See, I, many years ago, was afraid of tech. Well, I wasn't afraid, but I was suspicious, even though I came from a long career in television and film. But I did come to a point, teaching here and being where I just realized, no, got to start using the tech really well. But boy, has it been a lot of work to put all of this together. A lot. And I understand, as much as I can't stand his voice, Elon Musk, I just cannot listen to him. I understand his brilliance. And when he says that, guys, to his team, you're sleeping here tonight and you're sleeping, but I don't care. You're not going home until we've turned Twitter into X. And he literally, with his team, he unplugged all the machines. He didn't wait for anybody. He took his buddies to the headquarters in San Francisco and they unplugged everything in their cars. That's how they did it. You should read about it. It's fascinating. But I understand that obsessiveness with tech. That, you gotta, it's so hard. The coding, the algorithm, you just gotta sit there day and night, sleep at your desk, sleep in your cubicle until you get it. But if you're prepared to work really hard with the tech, you can create something pretty cool. So you will find me someone who really wants to help use the tech well, but I don't know what to do about ChatGPT. We're going to have to do this together, okay? So, okay, I'm going to come back. We've got the online group going. So here we go. I'm going to give number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and since it's rather large, we'll go 5 in this group, okay? And so here's a group of 5, okay? Great, you could just hang out here if you want. And then number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. You're a group, okay? And if we have time, I might say at some point in about 15 minutes, all number 1s now create a group, and all number 2s, but we'll see. So I may get you moving around. But let's see how it goes, okay? So you have your number, right, so far? So you have your number, right? You've had your number? Okay, so number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So 1 to 5s all create a group. You can spread around, turn off the microphones if you have one so they don't hear you. You can have a good, frank conversation together. And Grayson, sorry, join. This will be 6, okay? Yeah, you can join them. All right, so everybody find your spot in this think tank that we've got. Please don't leave. Do it in here, and we're going to create a good energy, and we're going to answer this question. Go ahead, everybody. Okay. For the online group, I'm just going to shut my microphone off for now. Okay. So if you need to reach me, Christina, Maria, Shauna, Banny, just put that in the live chat. Okay. Talk to you soon. for the online team, Shauna, Bani, Christina, Maria, and Tenjing, feel free to start putting your thoughts into the live chat. Okay? So we will take this up with all of you. But at the same time, if you want, you can start putting your answers to this question in the live chat individually, and we can take it up that way. Okay? So, did you hear that, Christina? Just give me a yes if you heard that. Okay. All ones now form a group, all twos form a group, and all fives, fours, and threes. You find your place where the ones will go. You'll maybe crash into each other as you're doing this. That's okay. Just, try to be careful. And if anyone is compelled to, you're welcome to start going up to the board and start to write out or draw out the answers to this question if you would like. Okay? You can also put things into the live chat as well. So we'll get all the media going. Yes? Oh, 6. And then sixes. So let's see what happens with the sixes. Are you and Grayson, you're a 6? I think the two of you are going to be stuck together for a little bit. Okay? Go for it. Sixes over here. Okay? Fives, fours, threes, twos, and ones. Oh, and continue to work on the answer to this. You can share your thoughts from this group with the next group. And you're also welcome to go up to the board and you can go onto the live chat. So we'll really get the think tank going. Okay. Good, Maria, Bani. Yes, you can start to use this for the answers. And we're going to do this one more round with a group here. I've now switched up the groups and they're going to continue to talk for another 10 minutes. And then we're going to take things up. So Christina, Maria, Tenjing, and Sean and Bani, you have another 10 minutes, okay? And then be prepared to take this up together on your microphone, okay, with the rest of the class. Thank you. I'd like you all to go back to your original seats, and we're going to start our take up, the big part of the class. Get ready for take up. Yeah. Great. Ah. Okay. We're going to start our take up for everybody online as well. Here we get going. Now, this is where we're going to really learn well together, because I'm expecting some insights from all of you. So first, we have to establish who's going to do the notes, because Nico has been working hard. He got us onto our question, but I think we should mix this up a little bit and give other people the chance to do some writing. So I find it hard to believe that only he was the one raised a hand about kind of liking writing. Am I to believe that? Oh, good. So there are students here who don't like, because, all right, so raise a hand again. Okay, so over here. Did I see a hand come up? Yeah, what's your name? Rihanna? Would you go over the board, Rihanna? Yeah, great, okay. Yeah, plus Rihanna's got that beautiful name. Should we ask her to sing? No, I guess you've been asked that before, okay? But okay, so great, Rihanna. Now to write on there, just test it out. So just go and put that pen and see what happens, okay? You'll see, start writing, you'll see you can actually go pretty smoothly, and it's a light touch, and you'll get the feel. And if you want to rub something off, just put your hand and go like that, okay? And if you want to move the card, you see the little 2 lines on your right there by the G, put your finger, yep, keep going down there, and then just underneath, that's it. Put your finger on those 2 little lines right there. Yep, there we go. And you can move the card, okay. So we'll leave you to put the notes under Nico's question, because we've got space. Good, so we've got our smartboard notes going, our GC notes. So we're all teed up for that. And let's see, we've got our online group. Good, we've got our live chat. Finally. Is there anybody here who feels particularly vocal right now who would like to come into the hot seat and talk as well with me and others, and, you know, share their thoughts with a microphone, and, you know, take some hard questions, and just generally be made to squirm? You're right. Look at this. Okay, finish out. You know, make sure you got your protein. You're all good? You got your protein? Okay, Anthony, come on up. All right, here we go. This is your spot, and you see, to get the microphone, I'll leave it on for you now. Okay, so you're on. All right.
Check 1 2.
You
Check
got
1 2.
And hold it like a karaoke. That's good. Like close your mouth, and then they'll be able to hear you. Okay, excellent. So Anthony, you're there. I'm going to go here to keep Anthony company. We've got lots of ideas going there. So now we're together. We're going to learn together. We're going to understand something about technology and about artificial intelligence that everybody's worrying a lot about today. A lot of people. In fact, you'll even see on our website, our vice president, executive vice president academic, has done something unusual. Right on the front page of the Durham College website at the moment, she's written all about how to use AI well. I've never seen her write anything for the front page. She writes a lot of emails, and she's terrific, but that tells you something about how seriously we're all taking this. Right on our website for everybody, we have our executive vice president of academics saying, we embrace AI. Okay, that's the easy part. How? So we're going to start, okay? And I think it's only fair that Anthony, being the courageous young man that he is, should start. And you want to tell us? And then we'll just get going, and we're going to put some really good thoughts there. And we want to come to some conclusions in the next 20 minutes or so. And we'll end a little bit early. We won't take a break. We're going to stay on this wave unless, do we need a quick break? I think this is the wrong time to take a break. I think we need to keep going. Yeah? Good. Okay. But we'll end 5-10 minutes early. Okay. So, okay, here we go. Anthony, how are we going to use this?
So I was talking to a computer programmer,
Yes.
and there's a lot of codes, a lot of things that it's hard to remember. So I guess you could use Chat GPT to find out certain codes to help you with certain codes.
Oh,
If
you
you have
find certain codes.
if you have an error in certain codes, you could ask Chat GPT, where's the error and how can because let's be real, like I can't remember all these type of different codes.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's tough,
Being
right?
codes. Yeah.
So I guess that's a way, in a
Sure.
way,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah, okay. But we're gonna push this a little bit as we start to get going on, well, and I'll let you think about this for a
Yep.
moment, Anthony. Why can't you remember? Something wrong with you?
Yeah.
See, I'm pushing. Well, your memory can't remember all this stuff.
Well, I feel like, okay, so when it comes to computer programming, computer is such a broad thing. It's so wide, right? So from websites to emails to this, that, to creating new things. So I don't know. I'm not in that program to know how difficult it is or not, but
Sure.
I feel like it is a help, just like asking a teacher for help. Yeah. So you use it as a secondary teacher.
Secondary teacher. This has come up before, and I think that's clever. That's nicely put. Okay, so we'll let you sit for a little bit, but you've already had to take a bit of incoming fire here.
Okay.
Might give you some more. So we're going to get to the live chat in a moment and see what's been coming in there, but let's kind of go around a little bit. The idea is how to use this. So we want to put some good points down. Now, first, do we need an explanation for everybody of what exactly is ChatGPT? I think for the students who might be wondering, because there are students who've never used it or this technology, I'm not going to ask who you are because you might feel a little uncomfortable saying that, thinking you're supposed to know. I think we should explain it. What exactly is ChatGPT? So who would like to try explaining that? I can, but I would rather you. What is it that we're talking about? We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about non-human doing a human thing. And then there's machine learning, but that's something else. But we've got this thing called ChatGPT now that everybody's talking about. What is it?
Isn't it just a program that teaches you or tells you the answers to basically everything?
Oh, okay, so, sort of. Let's drill down. Are there websites you go to? And what's your name? Ojan? Yeah, go ahead, Ojan. Just karaoke, please.
Sure will.
Yeah.
What I see about about ChatGPT is that it is an artificial intelligence that would go onto your software. For example, like your browser, or you can download it on a cell phone.
Sure. Yeah. And then what do you do?
And when you ask it some of the questions you want to ask for it, it will give you it will in 1 second it would come up the answer. But what I found most about of how they give the answers is that they don't really give you the accurate questions.
Okay, so we've got an accuracy problem. Okay,
Oh,
so
I meant accurate answers. I mean,
yeah, accurate answers. Yeah, accurate answers from it. Okay, good. Thank you. Let's keep going and make sure we have a clear definition that Rihanna can put on the board. Okay, we want a good definition. Sure. Yeah. Whenever you feel like writing something to Rihanna, go ahead. Okay. But we'll also guide you. Do you want to try? And do you want to give? I'm sorry. Your name again is Katie.
Kingsley.
Kingsley. Yeah, of course, Kingsley. That was a nice Kingsley service.
Yes.
Kingsley, go ahead.
So I think the other thing about it is that it's not just questions. You can ask it to do things for you. So I have no experience with ChatGPT. I haven't used it because I think for me it would be a slippery slope. I would be too tempted to use it too often and for too much. But I actually went on ChatGPT and asked it what you can use it for. And it says that you can use it for things like reminders and to-do lists as well. So it can set reminders for you and make to-do lists. So it's not just about questions.
Sure.
It can also sort of act as almost a personal assistant. So not only is it able to answer your questions, but also help you sort of in your day-to-day life with organizational skills and things like that.
Okay, so we all need personal assistants today.
We don't need them, but they're helpful.
They're helpful.
They make
Okay.
life easier.
Yeah, they make life easier. Okay, fair enough. What's your name? JP? Oh, I know. I can't remember. That's Robert. Is that Robert Downey? Jr.? Yeah, I love. He's a great actor. Yeah.
like ChatGPT.
Remind me how it's used. Sorry. Go ahead, JP.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just type in.
Yeah.
So you just type in whatever questions you have, and then it'll come up with anything. You can ask it like, let's say, hey, what's a good stock to purchase right now? What's a good business? Sometimes it's gonna say, hey, it's out of my reach. I'm just an AI, blah blah blah. If it can't answer it.
Yes.
So, but you can ask anything. What are you wearing?
Yeah.
Like you kind of just like Alexa, right? You kind of
Or Siri,
around with it.
something kind of like that.
yeah,
A little bit like that.
yeah. So you kind of get used to it, and then just be comfortable. And like I've said, we talked about it in the group.
Yes.
As long as you don't abuse it, in moderation, and if you can use it as a reference, right? Good reference.
Sure.
Just like the other AIs too, like Bing.
Yep.
So Bing
Bing's got
has
one
it,
going.
yeah, chatbot or whatnot, and yeah, just use it as a reference, and don't take it as a gospel.
Yep.
So and then you formulate your own ideas, and use it more efficiently, right?
And here's an interesting thing about Chat GPT, and then I'm gonna ask you a bit more of a tough question, and we'll keep this going. Do you know that it's only as good as the information that's been put into it, the data? It processes that. So when it gives you an answer, it's all in the past because it's all data that was entered. It can't be, apparently, creative. Think for a moment. Think for a moment of the future and of imagination. How much of your imagination has to do with the data that you have learned about something yesterday or even an hour ago? Your imagination is a wild, strange thing, like your dreams. You don't know exactly where it comes from, but you're thinking about things in the future based on, well, not always based on data that's in your brain. And so it is a fact. It's an interesting fact, and we'll talk. Absolutely, Kingsley, and we'll come to this in Brandon. Here's a limitation of it that you may not have thought of. Machines are created by humans. Humans enter things into machines. Humans create the codes for those machines. Humans put all that data in there, and when it gives you an answer, it's just going back to all those answers that are in the past, not in the future. Does that make sense? It's a very interesting distinction that you have to make when you start to engage and chat with these powerful machines. This is beyond Google. Google, you enter in and it gives you a whole list of URLs. This is now talking to you in clear sentences. Okay, great. We'll go to Kingsley, Brandon, and then we'll keep this. So you could put this, Rihanna. Chat GPT, AI is all in the past. Perfect. If you feel you've got it, Rihanna, go ahead. You don't have to wait for us, okay? Okay, great. So let's keep going. Kingsley, go ahead, and I want to give JL or JP? JP, okay. Yeah, make sure Kingsley has the microphone, and you'll get into the habit of this, moving the microphone around. Okay, great, Kingsley. So go ahead.
I think standing up took my thought out of my brain. Hold on.
All right.
I think the thing that I think, based on the thing about past users and like past information, yes, all of its information is from the past. However, because computers can hold much more infinite knowledge than my memory or brain can, they have the ability to be a little more multidisciplinary than we can and connect bridges that we wouldn't necessarily come across because they can have knowledge from so many different places. Like humans can be multidisciplinary and have knowledge in weird things. I have all kinds of fun facts that are unrelated to my major or anything I'm learning.
Yeah.
But their breadth of knowledge can be so much wider that I think it gives them the potential to find connections in ways that we wouldn't necessarily without like a lot of breadth.
Of course, of course. That's excellent. Brandon, do you want to add to this? And we'll move the microphone around, and then we'll come back to Anthony, and we'll come back to the live chat. And we're trying to find some good, positive ways of using this so you can engage with this powerful technology to help you. Okay, Brandon?
I remember earlier you were saying that ChatGPT has like little to no creativity or something like that. Was it?
Yeah, I said that.
To be honest, I don't think. I think you're somewhat right. It can't be creative, but it can know the idea of being creative because So basically, I love binge watching YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
And when ChatGPT was in the craze, I saw a lot of YouTubers kind of goof off with it and made it so it made really different and very crazy stories
Yes.
about different ideas, and like in like 3 minutes. So like it can be very creative, but it just has to learn the idea of creativity to help stem that. So it can't be as creative as us, but it can be somewhat creative.
Okay.
Make the artificial idea of feeling creative. Like for example, like how Spotify and SoundCloud use Smart Shuffle to make it seem being shuffled, but it's not really being shuffled. Because half the time when it's shuffled, it feels like, oh, it's being too similar. So basically, they made an algorithm for SoundCloud and Spotify where they make it so certain songs that are somewhat similar not be next to each other, so it does sound or does feel like it's actually shuffled.
So let's try and, because there's some good stuff in there, Brandon, and I feel you're kind of circling around. I want to come to the nut of it so Rihanna can write something. Rihanna, as you listen to that, did you hear anything there that would be considered a constructive use of this powerful technology in the classroom or for you? Okay.
Basically, he was.
What's he saying, Anthony? Yeah.
I think that he's saying that AI is able to be creative if we ask it to be creative, if we teach it to be creative. That's what you're trying to say?
Yeah, nice. Go ahead and write that. Anthony's got a nice way of putting these things.
Yeah, I was trying to say like
Tell Rihanna what to write. Okay, just you know. Okay,
can-
Brandon, you tell Rihanna what to write in a sentence.
we can teach it to be creative, but we can't make it exactly creative as us.
Okay, we can teach it to be creative. Let's look at the live chat for a moment and the online group. Then I'm going to ask all of you a very difficult question, and then we're going to conclude on that, okay, today. And we'll get a little bit ready for next week because you will have your first reflection to do after next week's class, okay? Class 3. So in the live chat from our online team, we had here, actually, why don't we do this? Instead of me reading out loud, Bani, Shauna, Christina, Maria, Tenjing, would one of you sort of jump on your microphone and just give us what you think is the most important part of what was put in the live chat? So you do the distilling for us and tell us what you think is really important from your team's discussion. Who's comfortable doing that? Bani? Shauna? Christina? Maria or Tenjing? One of you. Go ahead. Let's see. We have a cosmos out there, and it's sometimes a quiet place, the universe. Planet B, SJ, planet CT, planet MS, and planet T. Is there life on any of those planets right now? There could be some kind of uncomfortable people not wanting to say anything. Okay, fair enough. Bani? Oh, hello? The universe, the humanity's destiny solar system, planet B, planet SJ, and planet, okay, it could be dog walking time. That's okay, no vaping, please. Okay, I know you're there. I'm going to do this and then we'll move on. Christina, are you there? Planet CT? There could be an audio issue.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Am I making you uncomfortable right now?
No.
Way to go. Okay. Christina, you have a captive group of curious students right now, including one sitting with me who's had the courage to take some incoming fire and more about to come. Christina, what would you say is the most important thing that your team discussed in terms of how to use this thing called ChatGPT in our class this semester?
I seen a comment that they posted in the chat about summarizing like long theories and essays. And
Yep.
like it can just help you study and stuff. And yeah.
Excellent. Good for summarizing. Thanks, Christina.
No problem.
Okay. Now let's go to a darker place, a more uncomfortable place, and let's really work on this. Here comes the hard question. I have everybody's attention because this is really important. Good. Next week, the end of the class, you're going to have a reflection to write. And there will be some directions on what to do to write it in a discussion thread. It's about 350 words, worth 12.5%. And it will be due the following week. And it'll be out of 5. And for the more interesting ones that I think are somewhat instructive, we'll read some of them out loud. So it will be due, today is the 13th. I'll assign it on the 20th. It's due just before our class on the 27th. Well, here we are, the night of the 26th. And you are looking at what's due. Humanity's destiny. I got 12.5% writing on this piece of something that Lon gave me to write. Exactly. And we go. Time for ChatGPT. Let's go to OpenAI. Let's go to SpeedWrite. Let's go to, and you know, I'm really tired. It's late. I've got so many things due. Why did I even sign up for Durham College in the first place? This place sucks. No, it doesn't, but I'm just trying to go to a dark place. And suddenly, you decide, well, I've got this digital assistant, and all I've got to do is tell it what I need, give it a good prompt, and within, I don't know, 5 seconds, it'll give me 350 words written in a kind of personal way, nice sentences, even better than I could write. Who's going to be tempted to do that? And who's going to say to themselves, oh, well, cut me some slack. I'm under so much stress in my life. I didn't sleep last night. I got too much on my plate. And my medication is not working so well today. So, nobody's going to notice. Lon said he's going to look closely at things this semester, but I've been seeing some stuff coming back on ChatGPT. It's pretty beautifully written, and yeah, he'll understand. I'm just trying to do my best. Now, here's the thing. I give you 5 out of 5. I never noticed. How are you going to feel after that? Well, I mean, yeah, you know, great. I did it. Now we're on the slippery slope. Now the skates are getting duller and duller. Now the skis need a waxing. I can't stop you from doing that. I can't. There's a thing called academic integrity. And if you look at the definition of academic integrity, the International Association of Academic Integrity, you know what they will say? It's actually quite interesting. It's something very broad. It's a commitment to the values of honesty, fairness, good judgment, and all of these things. These things may mean nothing to you at midnight, at the time when you feel you're. How do I get into your head right now to make sure you don't do that? And I can't even say for certain that you haven't already been doing that for a few years. We're not going to go there, okay? But I want to make sure that when this class ends today, I at least got into your head a little bit to help you not do that, so that you will know how to use this technology well, not abusively. Okay, so now let's talk for 5 minutes. Now, Anthony, are you ready to really talk about this?
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to say for all of you that all of this is being done to help you. That's my job as an educator, to make you more creative and more critical, to deal with a world that is highly volatile and messed up, but also incredible in terms of opportunities. Very complicated. And the future has never been more unpredictable and unequal and unsustainable. And you guys have to solve these problems, because I'll be dead in a little longer. So my job is to make you better. Excelsior, right? Okay, so Anthony, what are we going to do?
Well, I just think that as individuals, we're in college now. We paid to be here. We're gonna pay to be here, and it's not like high school where we have to do this stuff. And the thing we want to get out of this is to actually learn. So we can go to our day to day. Live life, have a job, a career. So getting the easy answers is not gonna help you for the long run. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to learn stuff. So I guess it's just as individuals, we should know that it's not bettering us as students. It's not bettering us as people if we just keep cheating. I guess we have to look at it that way.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe Rihanna, go ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm here to learn. I don't want to be fired. Maybe write that down. I'm here to learn. Hold your thought for a second. I just want a couple of points I want to make, then we're going to conclude. Okay. Thanks, Anthony, for being prepared to. This is not. We're on a bit of a raw nerve here. Okay. And I do not want to look at any of you as potential cheaters. That's not how I look at human beings. I walk in and have good faith. I believe in all of you. So I'm here to help you. But I know with all the mental health problems today, God, we've talked about it so much now in the last few years in the pandemic, that everybody's struggling in some way or another. And it's very easy for you to make excuses for yourself and say, cut me some slack, please. I'm not going to cut you any slack. And you shouldn't want to cut yourself any slack when it comes to learning, because it would be such a lost opportunity for you if you walked through this course and this college and you wasted the opportunity to get everything from it that you could. So I don't want to waste any opportunities, Rihanna. I don't want to waste a single one. And finally, I'm going to say something to you. I really believe that if you're going to succeed today, you have to think on your feet. If you want to be a contributor to the world and have a way to really succeed in the future and have ideas and help solve problems that humanity is facing, and you want to be part of that solution, You have to be able to stand in front of people. You have to be able to stand in front of a team. You have to be able to stand in front of a group of people in a presentation, wherever, without a machine, nothing, and just speak the way I am now. I remember watching Jerry Seinfeld live. He's a brilliant comic. Stand-up comics we can learn so much from. They're incredibly courageous and smart people. And I watched him at Massey Hall in Toronto. He walked up on that stage with a microphone and a stool and a cup of water and a glass of water, and for 90 minutes, he just told jokes constantly, kept the story going, and had 2,000 to 3,000 people going. Boy, did he prepare. And it was just his mind communicating with people. He's thinking on his feet. No machine is going to do that for you. So if I can help you think on your feet more this semester and recognize, you are going to be ready, really ready, okay? So think on your feet. Lost opportunity. Now we're going to go to Kingsley and maybe one or two others, and then we're done. Okay, Kingsley? You sure? Okay, you don't, okay. Okay, well then, fair enough. And I understand that. But you know what? It never shows, except when you tell us you can't remember. But otherwise, I'm a huge believer when we talk about our disability and we understand it, it definitely can be a power, a superpower. And listen, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, talk to them about Asperger's syndrome, the two of them. Anyways, okay. I'd like to conclude today about this idea of the use of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence in the classroom. Do you feel that we've come to a little bit of insight on how maybe you can use it constructively? It's just the beginning of a conversation we're going to have through the semester. Have we missed anything? Is there anything Rihanna should put on in the notes? Because they're going to go up on DC Connect for all of you. Okay? Whoops. I forget there's a chair there. Let's see what's happening online. Okay. This live chat I'm going to save, so that will be available. We'll review both the live chat and the notes at the beginning of next week's class, okay? Get ready for your first reflection next week, okay? Thinking about the future. I'll see you next week. Yeah, JP? You can attend any way you like. Yeah, you can come in person, you can go online, watch the recordings, however you like, wherever you are. We're flexible. Okay. Have a good week, everybody. Okay. Yes. Sure. Let me shut the microphone. And first, I've got to do a couple things.